Let's get another question here, Jim. This one was sent to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Connor. From Connor in Connecticut. Hello, Jim and Brian. I'm a high school senior who has been a wrestling fan for about a decade now, and I've been a listener to the podcast for about a half a year or so. My question for Jim is this. With Keith Lee's arrival in AEW instantly cementing him as a monstrous force to be reckoned with, who should his first feud be against, and how would you book it?
Good Lord.
What do you do with Keith Lee? I guess that's an easier way to say how do you book his first feud, but what do you do with him now for the next 2 months?
Well, again, they're so anxious to rush things and to get people. I'm afraid to say that next week he's going to get jumped in the backstage area somewhere and have the garage door shut on his fucking head or whatever. He's just gotten there. I would give him, over the next 8 weeks, spread out 3 or 4 more matches like that. Find some low-level guys on a card that tell him what the fucking story is. This guy's an unstoppable monster. You're going to fly for him. You're going to get your comeback to the locker room. And in the weeks in between those matches, either have video highlights of the match that he just had or an interview with him where he just tells people his story, gets himself over. Whatever the introductory message is that they want for him, whether he wants to acknowledge that he's come to a place where he can finally bask in his own glory or whatever the story is, or he's had issues with, because they don't mind talking about COVID. He can say that he was sick and he was, taken away from people's television screens, and he has overcome that now, and he's the best shape he's ever been, and he wants to do whatever. He's here to make a difference, to win the championship. Well, just basic shit. Let us hear what he talks like, and let us see him win several matches. And then you can get him involved in something with somebody that's a step above who he's been just beaten, and draw that out where they get a little steam on him some way or another. They foil him in his path to something, or they fuck him around when there's something that he wants because they want the same thing. So naturally, there's got to be a collision course. As to who it would be, I've seen people on the internet say, well, they don't have that many guys as big as Keith Lee, or, well, they don't have any guys, but you know what I'm saying. They don't have any big guys or a lot of big guys, so his opponents are limited. That's exactly who you don't want to. You don't want to put Keith Lee against Powerhouse Hobbs, because then you've killed one guy's gimmick, because one of them is going to have to come out looking like the strongest guy, and then the other guy's weaker. And Keith Lee's too new for that, and Powerhouse Hobbs doesn't have enough behind him. Doesn't have enough push yet behind him. He hadn't been. We can't hardly ever even see him on television. So you want to put Keith Lee with a smaller heel, probably an experienced heel, that can bump and do the right things to get the guy over, but still he can, more importantly, do the right things when he's on offense to not make Keith Lee look like a dipshit that's getting beat up by a guy half his size. He's experienced enough to do it in the right way. Without going down the roster individually, I don't know that a name pops up to be the perfect guy off the top of my tongue as the first person, and obviously it shouldn't be an MJF because he's involved in other things at the top of the card. But we're talking about a smaller heel, possibly maybe a smart-ass heel, or somebody with a smart-ass manager, get some use out of Hardy again somehow, unless he's still wandering through the crowd. Or somebody with a tag team partner that can help interfere like they did, because what they did was perfect. Just more variety of that. Let Keith Lee show more of his repertoire, but with a guy that can also, when the time comes, cheat, get him down a little bit, get a little steam on him, whatever the case. And you do that for a little while and get him in something, and it's a gradual progression. That's what I'm insane over the the fact that they seem to want, with every major signing that they have, they want to start the guy out in a main event, then work him into the middle of the card. And then I think, as you said a couple of weeks ago on one of the shows, after he's been there for a year and a half, he's having a lot of one fall 15-minute matches with job guys. It's complete opposite. Totally backwards. So, they just need to, Keith Lee doesn't need to be involved in a blood feud before he's said boo to anybody in the company. Don't jump him. Don't get heat on him. Don't fucking have anybody really get the upper hand except occasionally physically in a match that he turns around and wins. And that's 3 months. Easily.
So while there are fans clamoring for Keith Lee and Powerhouse Hobbs, or I've seen Keith Lee and Miro.
Oh, Jesus.
You're not against it as a match, but you're against doing it anytime soon. Build to it for a while.
Yeah, I'm against showing the finish of the movie in the movie theater before we've established who the fucking hero is fucking in the first reel. Yes, down the road, Keith Lee and Miro might be maybe the most attractive thing, because you could, again, Miro is a fucking strong man. You could do some type of strength challenges with a guy like Miro. And if they put a match together where, they each took care of the other guy's aura and weren't just taking backdrops and monkey flips constantly, then you could work to that where that would draw money, because now both guys finally have a physical challenger. But they didn't start the Road Warriors off by putting them against the Powers of Pain. And as we've mentioned, the Road Warriors and the Powers of Pain are the Road Warriors and any other big team that was supposed to be as big and strong and powerful as they were. Those programs didn't draw because people didn't come to see the Road Warriors get beat. They came to see the Road Warriors physically destroy the smaller heels that had heat. So you could do anything to put Keith Lee and Miro or another big, strong beast on a collision course, but it involves both of them getting wins with other people and being physically dominant and being, till finally the fans are saying, we need to see this match because the two strongest guys or the two biggest, fucking beasts or whatever in all of AEW are these two guys. So now we need to see that. And then you have the match. That would be a long way down Keith Lee's fucking road for me right now.